Hi everyone! This is a continuation from a previous video where I swatched some LUKAS watercolors. If you haven't seen that already, I'll leave the link below. In today's video, we'll be comparing some of the previously swatched LUKAS colors with some I already have. The first comparison I'll be showing you is between LUKAS's and Roman Small's Caput Mortuum. The first difference is that Roman Smalls is made with a single pigment of PR102, whereas LUKAS's is Caput Mortuum Deep, made with a mixture of PR101 and PBK11. It's a bit difficult to show through the screen, but I'm quite surprised they're very similar in hue. LUKAS's Caput Mortuum Deep granulates well, but does feel rather flat compared to the one next to it. Roman Small's version feels much more complex, where the undertone is almost like a warm red, has dark raw umbery granulation, and is almost purplish brown in mass tone. Next, we have LUKAS's Cobalt Violet. In my last video, a viewer commented that the pigment seems to be PV62. I'm doing this comparison to see how it compares to genuine Cobalt Violet, as well as ultramarine violet, because when I first swatched it out, I felt like it was more of an ultramarine violet or lavender. So here we have the LUKAS one swatched out, beautiful granulation, a soft blue violet. It seems to be a medium to low tinting color, as I'm not able to get a dark mass tone. Compared to the White Knight's Ultramarine Violet, they're both very similar in hue, although the Ultramarine Violet does seem the slightest bit cooler. I think the LUKAS one just seems more on the pastel end of the spectrum. And here I've swatched out Rembrandt's Cobalt Violet. I must say that Rembrandt's and winsor&newton are more on the pink end, whereas Cobalt Violets from Shinhan, Da Vinci, and other brands are more on the cooler end of the spectrum. That said, they look nothing like each other, and then it occurred to me that the LUKAS one felt almost like a lavender. So here, I've swatched out Van Gogh's lavender next to it. Van Gogh's is definitely more blue, but you know what? I've always thought that Van Gogh's lavender had always been a bit too blue for my own preference, so I'm much more fond of the LUKAS Cobalt Violet for a lavender color. On to LUKAS's Genuine Rose. If you don't yet already know, this one is made with PV19, a quinacridone color, and quinacridones are usually strong tinting, transparent colors. But LUKAS's version sought to emulate the more natural genuine rose color. It's definitely not what one would expect when buying a PV19. Next to the LUKAS, I've chosen to compare it with Rembrandt's Quinacridone Rose Reddish and Shinhan PWC Permanent Rose. After having painted with both of these colors, I find that Rembrandt's Quin Rose Reddish doesn't seem to be as high tinting as some other PV19s I've used, like the Permanent Rose. It's definitely what you'd expect from a PV19. If I hadn't been painting lots with it before, I probably wouldn't know the difference. However, as I swatch out Shinhan's Permanent Rose here, you can clearly tell that the mass tone can get much darker. I know some of you will say it's because of how much paint I dabbed on for Rembrandt, but you'll just need to trust me on this. I've used both Rembrandt and Shinhan, and Rembrandt's is definitely not as high tinting. That's as much as it'll go in mass tone. So after all these comparisons, I think I'm definitely going to put LUKAS's Cobalt Violet on my wish list for next year. I much prefer it as a lavender than my Van Gogh one. I'll be swatching a few more LUKAS colors in a future video, so please stay tuned for that. But for today, that's it. Thank you for watching, everyone. Don't forget to drink lots of water and stay hydrated. Bye, everyone!